The Tories have proposed wider stop and search powers for police in crime hotspots. Under these plans, police would be able to act without having grounds for suspicion. And this comes as the Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp announced they would hire 10,000 extra police officers if he returns to government. That's a big if.
But Labour seems more interested in what people say on social media than they are in catching burglars. It is time to end the madness. We would end this nonsense and we will abolish non-crime hate incidents.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's absolutely absurd, isn't it? Well, joining us now is former police officer Norman Brennan. Good afternoon, Norman. Well, I mean, he's saying sense. He's saying sense about non-crime hate incidences, but why he didn't say that when they were in office and abolished them, I'm pretty sure they emerged under their time in office.
Nana, why do you think the streets of London and Britain are lawless at present? And before you answer that, I'll help you with the answer. It's because in 2009, Theresa May, the then Home Secretary under David Cameron, crippled British policing by almost 20,000 police officers and tens of thousands of backroom staff. And while the public ask themselves now, while law and order is out of control on the streets of London and Britain, which I'm telling you it is, it's down to the Conservatives. Although we've recovered by getting an extra 10 or 15,000 police officers, I'm afraid the police have not been able to take the streets back. So it's a bit rich for the Conservatives to come at now they're not in power and say what we should be doing.
Yeah, I hear you. Non-crime hate incidents is one of the things where there's loads of paperwork when it's not even a crime, so why are you bothering with it? And also they're talking now about stop and search. Is he right about that we need to increase the powers so that police can stop and search people without even having suspicion and in what they call hotspots, although I don't know what that definition of a hotspot would be?
Well, the police already have powers to stop and search. And I'll be quite honest with you, Nana, when I was in policing for 31 years, I stopped hundreds of suspects, both black and white, predominantly black in the areas that I policed, which were high ethnicity areas. And I seized dozens of knives, and that was just one officer. So stop and search saves lives. It's important. It's a very important tool in the police toolbox. It's not the only one.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just live in credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
But it's police officers, predominantly in London, that stand with young black mothers and fathers, and a child is laying dead on a mortuary slab 5 feet away, and they plead bereft. They're screaming, please do something. So the police have the task to actually do something. And what they need to do is go out and stop and target those that are actually committing crime. And I can tell you, Nana, when I was in a robbery squad in North London for 6 years, it wasn't the colour that we targeted, it was the crimes. But the black community in London and the areas I policed were responsible for disproportionate amount of murders, stabbings, robberies and street crime. So it was those types that actually were committing the crime that we targeted. And it's some people in the black community, instead of looking within of the problems that they may have been able to help deal with, they always blame the police and they say stop and search is racist. Well, it's not racist if the police are following statistics and the types of crime that certain individuals commit. If outside London, street robberies were committed but predominantly by young white boys, I'd be concerned if we were stopping more black boys than white boys.
Well, also, you're actually protecting a lot of the black people from themselves because it's often black-on-black stabbings, so they're killing each other, and that's the other thing. So the police are there to be helpful to the black community because they are killing each other. The highest number of black people dying in these stabbings are black people who are killing each other. So I don't think it's racist at all to stop and search. But one thing I would say is, given what happened at that police station in Euston, where they were the language and the behaviour was terrible. I think someone had their fingers broken apparently by the police. Is it, giving the police more powers, do they need to have a bit more, more training as to how they stop and search? And do we need to ensure that they're doing it properly? Because people will be quite compliant if you treat people with respect, even if they are criminals. Not all of them, but some of them will be.
Do you know what, Nana? You and I watch social media. We post on social media. We always see and have posts that are regurgitated of the bad things that police do. And the police are not perfect. They're far from perfect. However, we never hear of the tens of thousands of men and women that get up every day, that stand between good and bad, right and wrong, and have to face knife attacks. Only yesterday, I posted on the 40th anniversary of PC Keith Blakelock. Do you know what, Nana? When everybody's running away from crime, complains about the police not doing enough, when we run towards that danger, when people like me, when I was serving, were stabbed and almost murdered, who actually cares about us? The ones that listen to your concerns, the ones that act upon your concerns, and getting to the point. I could say to everybody in Britain, if I was a politician, I will give you all £5,000 each. That would really transform so many lives. So all these politicians now standing up at the lectern at their party conferences, promise of the world, I'm afraid it's a bit too late and it's all froth. What we need, Nana, is substance. We need a government that cares, has vision, has direction, wants the streets to be safe, and employs the tens of thousands of police officers we need. We're 18,000 officers short since 2009 from the population growth. And people like Mayor Khan and Theresa May, when she was in power, wanted the police to stop and search. And over the last 8 or 9 years, stop and search in London has gone down from 1.5 million to 500,000.
It's madness.
We don't have the police officers.
We need them. We need them. Norman Brennan, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Right.